we're now chapter members of the Canadian Society of Questers. Is that how it said? Yeah. So they gave us a donation of $50, and that was greatly appreciated. We became chapter members in December, right? Yes. So that's a new thing for us. All right, so our guest speaker this evening is Alexandra Luppold. She's an author, an artist, and a mystic. And when I asked her what she was going to be talking to us about tonight, she said life. And then I reminded her we only had an hour and a half. And we do always welcome questions for our speakers towards the end. So if you have questions, I'm sure Alexandra would be happy to answer those at the end. Thank you.
Oh, you want me to come?
Yeah, it's your turn now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. So I realized that I'm actually speaking or preaching to the choir when I just look around. You know, whatever's being talked today, I'm sure that you have heard it in some way or know it in some way, but that's okay. I also know that's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, like 13, that was German, yeah. I have to count in my mom's language, otherwise the math doesn't add up correctly. So as you see me here, I know that's like 13, 15 people here. So there will be 13, 50 versions of myself standing here. Okay? So even though I'm just one body here or one soul in one body, there is many versions of me. Each of you have one of that. So what I would like to do actually maybe start with the version that comes from me or through me. So about 58 years ago, so I'd like to start how I ended up here, right? So 58 years ago, I was still not quite born, but I was almost there. I was born in March. So I was still cozying up in my mom's room, knowing what I know in the environment, listen to the heartbeat of my mom for such a long time already. At that time, I know everything. I know why I want to come here. I also knew where I will land. I chose my parents. I chose the land. I chose the time of the year and also the history years, all that stuff. I knew all that. And I know that you also would have known the same in your own case. So, and then what happened? I get born. And in that moment, I lose all that memory. And it literally scared the shit out of me. Because that's what I did first when I was born. My mom told me that, I don't remember that. So we becoming that, we forget about everything. We forget about everything that we came here to do. It's on purpose like that, right? So I was born in 1962 behind the wall in East Germany. Some of you probably know maybe what that means, but that means like being born in a big prison with a whole bunch of other people. So we had the communists in the public, or socialists, and my mom was also a Lutheran. So at home I had the church consciousness or the Christ consciousness in my environment, how to grow up, and in the public there was the communists or the socialists. So there was two opposites one in the private home, and the other one in the public home. What you think is opposite, right? When you look at those in public, you could not really say that you go to church. It was just like okay with that. Does anybody knows a little bit about the East German stuff? Yeah, okay, so good. But I found for me that actually in essence it was the same. What that was like, the idea of Marx and Engels was actually great, and also the idea of the whole of the church, no matter what church you belong to, it's also great. For me, that was the same. I couldn't quite understand as a child why that was so separated, right? Anyway, I grew up there and I know how to behave. For me, I was not a rebel. Other people needed to rebel to that. I just make the best out of it that I could. So I grew up in both environments. Again, I knew, not then, but I know now, that I chose that because it gave me a training for life. So growing up there, I always wanted to be my own business anyway, even though in the East German government it was possible somehow. I became a gardener. That was my first thing, to be with plants and garden. Then in 3 years before the wall came down, so I did for the whole school system and everything else. I did all that with no accidents or anything. I was a good person. But I left East Germany before the wall came down 3 years. I went to Munich, and so I left there already. I had actually no idea what I was going into that. Later on, when everything was unfolding, I actually realized in what danger I did put myself. But I was very blonde and very naive. And sometimes that was the bliss. I just went for it. So, no. Because that was also, I believed in it, because they say all that stuff. They must mean it. It must be true. As kids, we just believe what we're being told there. And of course, we are also brainwashed and programmed until, especially with the age of 6 or 7. So I landed in Munich, and after 3, and it was quite a shock. It was a culture shock. First things, I couldn't understand those people that also were German, coming from Thüringen, going to Bavarian. The language was like, what are they talking about? It was awful. I couldn't understand them. And of course, I didn't speak because I knew if I would speak, they would know exactly where I'm coming from. After a year, we moved to Stuttgart. Same thing happened over again. Now they spoke again. The dialect can be very strong from the region, even from the north to the south, like 2 different languages. So again, I worked as a gardener. That was all good. I worked in an office later on too, but this is all, I could tell you stories, but there's another time there. I had a car accident then so when was that? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I came to Canada in 22 years ago, March 1998. And the reason for me to leave Germany was very simple. I couldn't find peace. Little did I know that actually, I kind of get yourself, when you follow your intuition or you follow the way how life tries to guide you, you actually go there exactly where you should be. I need a couple accidents for that. But I'm listening. I am listening to it. And I remember when I sold everything. When I went first for 6 months, just as a visit, and there actually in that 6 months, I said, okay, now I know what I need to do. I need to have my own organic garden, a little house, a big truck, and a dog. So that was, in that order, I wanted that. And I went home, back to Germany, and this is what I did. I just sold everything, and just packed up one suitcase and that big dream. And I left again, one-way ticket back to Canada. And I landed in Nanton. You know what Nanton is? Everyone asked me like, I know, but but people said, what? You come from Germany and you're in Nanton? It's like, yeah, well, that's just how life guided me there. So yes, I landed in Calgary, but I had some opportunities in Nanton to start my own organic garden. People called me Crazy Alex, and I found that it's actually a compliment, because you know what happened when somebody calls you crazy? You can do whatever you want. You can do. Anybody speak German? Ist der Ruf einmal ruiniert, lebt es sich ganz ungeniert. So, translated, if somebody speaks bad about you, you can do whatever the heck you want, because it cannot get any worse. So, again, I had there, I was given some land, and I stayed with somebody. I started my organic gardening because that's what I wanted to do. Again, not really understood in Nanton, mostly farmers, ranchers, very conservative. But I did it anyway. And within 2 years, I actually had a really good business going of growing organic vegetables. But the first year I had all that, great harvest, but no customers. Like, ouch, what now? But then you maybe have heard farm to table, or now they call it slow food movement. That was just going, it was just starting there. So I could go in there and have a great relationship with the restaurants, with the chefs who wanted to have good quality of food. Talking about energies there already, because I know that you already understand energies, how this works. My partner now, he went into the restaurant, the River Cafe in Calgary, and he ate some salad greens. It were the salad greens I delivered to this restaurant. And he ate those, and he asked the waiter, like, what's that for salad greens? Oh my gosh, this is how salad greens has to taste like. And the waiter's like, oh yeah, they're from Crazy Alex. And he wanted to meet the person that grows that kind of salad. So he could pick up the energy that I already created when I created the salad greens. And when I sold them, for me, it is just an honor to sell things like, it has to be super high quality, like made in Germany, right? I would not sell anything that I would not eat, or even I would eat worse, but I would never ever sell it. And I know it was a big runner there, but Terry already, so I got him. You know how you get men? You get him through the stomach, right? That's the proof. It took still a couple years before we really met, but he could taste that, and other people too, but often we are not really aware of that. Anyway, so I had that salads and this organic gardening great going, and something else happened still. again, I forgot everything, or a little bit, but I just know when I'm on the right track, I know I'm in the right way. Do you know that? Yeah. So if you're not, it just doesn't feel right. Like when I was still in Germany and I couldn't get a work visa, and my mom was really happy. Oh yeah, maybe she stays home, because she was not happy, of course. I said, no, I know I had to leave. I know I had to leave. And I just said, no, I'm going anyway, even if I just travel or whatever. So it's almost sometimes you get tested, but you test yourself. It's not somebody else putting that on you. In 2003, I had, again, my business as a organic gardener or producer. But in 2003, I had let's call it a direct experience. Everything changed after that. My painting started to change. I painted before, but it was also quite painful. So just to say that direct experience did not leave me all with wings and everything is nice. It was a big shift. The thing is when a higher vibration enters your body and your body is actually not prepared for that, it becomes very painful. Do you know what I'm talking about? No? Okay. Anyway, I don't wish that on anybody. So I started to paint something, and I called those actually the sacred CosmoGrams, because what turned out later, they were like telegrams from the cosmos, messages from the cosmos. And I also like really to go with the feeling or go with the heart and water, even though I'm German and we have a really strong mind, but I rather asked my students or anybody, just go and lose your mind and then see what happens. If we try to explain everything, it explains it actually away or makes it smaller. Okay, so that's what came, and then through that time, slow and slow. Of course, I had my own personal trauma from childhood, but we don't need to talk about that because I know every one of us has that. So, and then when did we came here to the island? Like, I moved around a little bit. 2003, then we moved here to the island or to Courtney like 5 years ago. That's how I started here. And of course, this morning I got up. That's why I ended up here tonight. Now I like to talk about what happened to us. And I like to give you a little, maybe a little explanation, a little picture that it really is easier to understand. I need a volunteer who comes and sits here for me. Just a volunteer. Yeah? Okay.
Feels right.
It feels right. Okay. Okay, so just now let me bring my torch. Let me bring my torch. Okay. So, as we talked about it, and you all understand the whole concept of soul or spirit. Yeah? I know it's sometimes confusing. What is the soul? What's the spirit? So let's call it the soul spirit. But this, what we have, this, are you okay if I'm touching you? Appropriate. Sure. Okay. That is just our body, right? Our physical form, our avatar, where the soul spirit just walks through the land, through the earth. Okay, so when we are born, even before we're born, I explained that we know exactly why we came here. We have it all laid out. We We know the challenge that comes to us through the country. We know of the challenges, but also the gifts that bring us, that come to us from our family, that come to us from the society that we are growing up or being born in. So we know all of that. So no complaints to anybody other than ourselves, because we know it, but we forget about it. I mean, how would it be if we would all know that? There would be no fun to discover it again. You know, it would be pretty boring. So what happened? Let's see, this is a beautiful little soul here. Yeah, all bright and West German. Okay, they're not so good. West German where? You don't?
My dad was in the army, so we were in Israel.
Okay, yeah. So you
sort of near Paderborn.
Paderborn, okay, yeah, that is another language I would never be able to understand. That's really not. Anyway, so freshly born, and you all, as you sit here, I know one thing for sure, you all have been born. You all have been born of a mother, most likely, and you all had a father. Whether father or mother was present, it doesn't matter. This is all what we share. We have been born of another human being. Okay? And we all have more or less been in the womb for a certain time. Okay? And we also know what we came here for. Then what happened? You know, we are born and, you know, yeah, shit happens. Right then. So again, we know all what happened. Now we have some stuff happen to us. We have also what we call ego. Ego is there to protect us, especially when we are small. But other things happen from the environment, from our family, from the society, from things around us, from friends. Okay. So, and the first thing what happened, you know, I will call that a layer. Okay. This is just the first layer. You're newborn, and then ego or environment starts putting on a layer to protect us. Can you still see? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you guys, can you still see her? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, but it's still kind of there, right? A little bit pretty. Over time, something else happened. Okay, a family member or another family stuff happened. Okay, there comes another layer. Oh, and what do you see now?
Very little.
Very little, okay. So over time, then, you know, school, again, politics, or whatever happened. Another layer. Okay? And that goes on and on and on and on. What do you see?
Just some hints of the light.
Okay, and what do you guys see? Do you see her? No. How do you feel in your heart as that happen? Or everyone. Yeah. It's Satan, right? Mm-hmm. But this is how we walk around. Okay, this is BS. What's that mean? Bullshit. Belief system. Good.
Our belief system.
Exactly.
Oh, it's awful.
Okay, but it's also bullshit. You're right. But some of this belief system is being put on to us. Other belief system we adopt because for whatever. And it makes my heart heavy seeing that. Because we saw, and this is when you look at a newborn baby for the first time, and everyone goes like, you lose your senses, you become totally baby-like, the way how you talk, because you see in a baby's eyes the innocence, the pureness. You look like, it's like, oh my gosh, this is what we are at first when we come. And then over time that happens. Okay, now we all walk around like that. And even tell each other names or like you should do that or should that. We help each other also to add some more stuff. Right? And then this person wants to be seen. I don't know any person who says, no, I don't want to be seen. Most people want to be seen for what they are, but are really, really scared. Because there's some BS in here that tells you, you better don't show who you are. Because what happened there, is a build-up. And this person, because it over time, doesn't even know it. We don't even know it. Ouch. But actually you do. You actually do. You just kind of over time forgot a little bit. But I think you do all know it. Am I right? Huh? Do you know that you have some BS going on? Right? So, yeah. So now what would happen? I want you to maybe hold to this one here. Okay? Hold it. Okay? Now what happened? I don't believe, it's my BS, I agree, that anybody can take that away from you. If even you try. And I know there's many ways that, that layers could be removed, but not by anybody else but you. Because some are so grown in within you that you even don't want to let go of it. And it would hurt like that, right? But there are, and this is where I actually put my love into it, like helping to unlayer the layers slowly. Okay, so we cannot rip that all off. We cannot rip that off. It would probably damage us and reduce the opposite of getting seen or being free of that. Now, there's many ways of the healing arts that help or assist the removal of the layers. The ones I work with is the systemic constellation and also the guided journeys I do with those CosmoGrams that you see behind me. What they do, they actually go right through those layers. They don't touch those layers because they don't work on a level of words or belief system. They work on a vibrational way. So over time, in your own healthy, appropriate time, we want to remove those layers. Some of that is still happening, right? So even that needs probably a little bit more convincing that that can be let go of it. And I wanted to ask you, while you were sitting here, of your experience of the layering up and layering down.
Well, it was kind of cozy, actually.
Ah,
to be in that little cover.
uh-huh, exactly.
I feel safe. Nobody can see me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. We hit a nail on the head.
And for me, I just want them all to come off. Like, I'm just watching. It's just like, okay, I want to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I want them off now.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Not to be seen.
Because then you can actually do whatever you want and you don't be maybe responsible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the main thing, right? We want all that. We don't want to be responsible, but we need to be responsible for what we are doing. But if you're all covered up, nobody knows who I am. But that, I think, for me, is more like a not grown up person wanting to do that. A grown up, an adult, knows that there is responsibility and that you are needing to take responsibilities for your actions. And just imagine for a moment how the world would be if everyone takes a responsibility for their actions. Truly would change a lot. And also then staying there. Okay, even you can have that. Even staying there and saying, yes, I did that. Yes, I hurt you. That is about a grown-up response. It's not a grown-up response when you say, no, you did that, and the blame, and blah, 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 all that stuff that we know from when we're like that. But when we are becoming, and this is what I'm sometimes getting a little bit sad about it, is when you look at politics, they're like kindergarten, they're in the sandbox. It's like, are you kidding me? What's going on there? There are like sandbox kids playing each other. There is no one conscious enough to take responsibilities for their own actions. And this is also about consciousness, because that here, under here, cuckoo, that's the consciousness. It's the soul spirit, it's the consciousness. All that is just our BS, right? Do you agree with me? Or, even if you don't agree with me, that's okay. I can take it. I can take it. So, the question is here again, do you want to be seen? Do you want to be seen?
Oh, yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah. So let's.
Getting a little too cozy.
Yeah, let's try. Let's try.
Hello.
Yeah. It's really, really funny for me because we often, we complain that we're not being seen, but we're hiding underneath, and we don't really want to let go of it. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your cooperation. Right. So, let me talk about some of that BS here. That we carry around, and we have done that for such a long time that we even don't know that we actually carrying something with us. We're walking around, and sometimes it gets a little bit harder, but is there anything? No. So from small on, we have had that. And somebody tells you, you're having a share behind you. What do you mean I have a share? We don't even know that, right? So when you have a hard hold or grip on something, just try it. Just hold something hard. Just hold something hard. Even if you just clench your hand really, really hard. Okay, so this is what we hold on to our BS a long time. And then that's me. Then we even have an identification of that. We think that's us. Often it's the trauma, our story. We're telling our story, that's happened to me. Okay, how long do you want to hold on to that? Okay. Very long. Now, when I ask to open, it's try to open your hand after you really hold it. What happened? It takes effort, and it hurts at first. Okay, it's like, ow, ow, it hurts, right? And depends how long we have carried that BS. And that's what happened. Sometimes we call it, I guess, healing crisis, or when people don't want to go to a family or systemic constellation or whatever. They're getting a little bit shivery because they know something's going to happen. And what happened to you when you are losing something that you think it's you? You think you're losing your identification. What am I, or who am I if I'm not my story, if I cannot tell my story anymore?
I think that happens to a lot of people that retire.
Yeah.
Granddaughter or something.
Yeah, that's other stuff, right? But what am I when I'm suddenly not my story? What do you mean? I have to take responsibility now? I cannot blame it on my story anymore? No. But it's painful, and it's really hard to do. In systemic constellation, we work on that. And the way how you have thought about systemic constellation or family constellation? No. Okay. It's a process where we're working on the level of the soul, where we looking at things that, it's your BS, mostly family stuff, because you have been programmed, we all have been, from the time we are conceived until about we are 6-7 years old, all programmed, downloaded, because during that times we are unconscious, because we have to learn so much. If we would be conscious, we wouldn't be able to learn that much in that short time, actually. We have to learn to poop the right way, we have to learn to walk, we have to learn to speak, we have to grow all these body parts that are not coming with no instruction either. So all this program is so deep in it, and this was the first layers of that whole layering up, right? You might be aware of the ones that you put just lately on, but the ones you don't, somehow they are very entangled and connected to it. So in systemic constellation, we're working on that. And that can look like, hey, there was alcoholism in our family as far I can remember, or as far mom and dad told me. We always said somebody was a drunk. Hello, that's not a specialty. Okay, there is something not quite in order. There is something not quite in order. Because we also know that there is a family soul, right? And a family soul, or soul as I understand it, soul spirit, is love. Okay, and I'm using the word love because we all have some kind of understanding what it is, but it's also kind of a consciousness. But I just use it as a placeholder. A soul, a family soul, does not allow exclusion. It loves everyone, no matter what. Okay? In a bigger picture, there is no such thing as a victim or a victimizer. And I'm going really high now that it was an agreement. And I also, and I totally believe in that, and I know it for myself, that the person that you think that hurt you the most also loves you. Okay, this is really hard to take. And I know some of you might like, what the heck is she talking about? And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Okay. Huh?
The energy shifts a little bit.
Yeah, I could feel it already. But I like to stretch you a little bit. And again, there's many versions of me out here in the front. That's okay. But I know that you have heard that all love heals everything, right? But the conscious, what really love is, it's very different for everyone. Or I will give you another example what I'm talking about, a little bit slow down example. Have you watched the movie Ray Charles? Anybody watched the movie Ray Charles? Okay, so you know that he wasn't blind in the beginning. He turned blind later when he was little. And there was a scene in that movie that impressed me very well. It was when he turned blind, his mom turned a blind eye. Meaning, there was a scene where he comes in and he felt, and he was calling for his mom. And his mom's response was, of course, to go there and help him. But she held herself back. And she let him figure out the way how to get, because she knew he's becoming more and more blind. And that, for me, was a very good example for strong love. Somebody else looking at her like, what's that for a mother? She's not looking after her son. If she would have gone, helped him up, that's weak love. Okay? But stepping back, holding space, knowing that, and it hurt her, of course, you could see, but knowing that if she steps in, she enables him, she's not helping him. Stepping back, looking at that, that is strong love. Somebody else would call it, she didn't do a good job. So that's just an example. And I'm sure, I know the same happened for us too, but we can't really see it. And I love to help you with that, to see it that way, because I truly believe in that. I have gone through that myself, even with my mom, To be honest, I haven't met one woman who hasn't had any issues with their mom, or a man not with his father. But trying to look deeper, to find the deep and the strong love, than rather the blame. You didn't do that. We have expectation. We have expectation, but where the expectation come from? That is just the BS, the expectation. The expectation that was told you by somebody that this is how it's supposed to be. But giving yourself permission to actually go deeper, look deeper, allow yourself to really feel the love. And that cannot really be explained with words, okay? You gotta feel it. It goes beyond the words. It goes also beyond the explanation. And that's what we also work in systemic constellation. There's a lot of, you have experienced.
Yeah, and so for me, experiencing family constellation, I think that's a great way to describe it. It's that when you're in circle, the beautiful part is you're having people represent the parts of your family that you can't really make sense of. So you're sitting in a chair like this, to explain what happens. And imagine we're in a circle, and I'm working on my family. And so Alexandra takes you out of the room, so nobody else in the room knew anything about my family. And people get picked to represent me, and it's very emotional. It's incredibly powerful.
And it is carried by love. It is not carried by judgment. That's the most important thing. Okay, people are really, really scared of judgment. Okay, the seeker, which is the person that puts up or does the constellation. And constellation is an English word. The German word was family Aufstellung. If we translate it, it would be called family put up. And I mean, who is putting up the family? We put already up with our family. So constellation is another word. But yeah, it goes deep. We are working on, we're working on the soul level. And what I love the most about it, no explanation. There is no question, what do you think? No.
And that
No.
is the remarkable piece, because
Yeah.
when you watch your family, like people who don't know anything about you tap into the field and they represent the dynamics of your family in a way that, like,
Yeah.
that is kind of,
Magic.
you know something really powerful is happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody knows anything.
yeah.
They're articulating.
Yeah, sometimes they use even sentence exactly like that person always used.
You clothe the way your mother fixed it.
Yes, yes. So you will feel it in your system, in your energy field, and your soul level. And what's most important thing is that we allow the soul to move in their own pace. Remember, there's no pushing. We're making, in a facilitation for me, is like making space to allow it, to move it through. And I tell you that every soul wants to get rid of that shit. Okay? We wanna show up. We wanna show up to each other. So we are coming together, and each of us is a teacher, is a healer, right? Only if you're present. You only have to be present. Okay? So, but it has to be carried by the consciousness of the heart, which means allowing the strong love, not the judgment, not things has to be this way or that way. Now, having said that, there is a certain order that we cannot ignore. For example, that all of us have been born from a mother, as far as I know. And we have a father. So we all have a mother and we all have a father. Even if we were put together in a dish, there was still a father and a mother, or those biology stuff involved in it. So there is an order. And that order is like an order of nature, that things come first and then it follows there, right? You cannot do step 2 before you can do step 1. And again, there's another thing that I have seen so many times. People like to ignore that. Hello. Yeah, come in. Yeah. So there is no way that it can be ignored. We have to accept and respect and honor that. And when we do this, the energy can line up right behind us and support us in the right direction. I see beautiful faces right now, like, whoa.
So the other thing I really want to share too is because I have a 25-year-old and we're very connected. And I know that when I do this work, that I'm doing it for her too.
Yeah, exactly. So the healing or the correction or whatever you want to call it is applied in all directions, past, present, future. And you know that whatever you do today has an effect to the future. This is just how it is. So when people are often, they come not for themselves. It's really funny. It's so cute. You know, we come because we want to heal somebody else. No, we don't need healing. We want to heal somebody else. So it's very cute that way, actually. But that's not how it works. We first always have to work on ourselves and what happened, and that's the beauty on it, it ripples through, but it also ripples backwards. On the soul level, there is no time that or physical space that we are not connected. We are always connected. And that's also why this work can work, because we are using a knowing field that we are always around it. We are always surrounded with. Like how we sit here today, all of you, we are all connected somehow. We all knew from other lives. You look in each other's eyes, you knew each other from another life. Okay? And when we come together in a circle to do systemic constellation, we are in service to each other. And when you are stepping in as a representative for another person, it is an honor to be for a short time into somebody else's shoes. Nobody can know how it is. You know how people say, oh, I know how it is. If you have not experienced it, you do not know it. Period. You don't know it. Okay? So in that work, you can it is a blessing to be part of another family system. But at the same time, it always has something to do with you too. Something down the line, some of your own ancestors was a drunk too, for example. So, there we go. Okay, but we don't not judge why they drink. No, my purpose is, or my agenda is to go back. Where has it started? Who was wronged, or why did that happen? And there we go and apply the healing. And the rest will take care of itself. Take care of itself. And no explanation. I love that the most, right? I know people like to talk about it and they try to explain it. What happened? When you explain something, you put it in a box. Okay, this is this and this and blah, 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 and so and blah, 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 blah. No, you have a box around it. You have a box. Oh, that feels good. I have a box. I can file it, put it over here. That's as human. Soul, no. If something is so big, if it's so big, leave it that big. Allow it to move. If you don't explain it, the healing, it can be so huge. You might never be able to trace it back where it came from, but who gives a shit? If it's still, on the end, the results of a higher consciousness of love, right? You guys got a little bit squeezy? Yeah, as soon as you start talking about family, it's like, oh, yeah, right? Do you have any question to that? No? Okay. So, this is one thing I do, and I love doing that work. And as Karen said, I like to honor the privacy of each person by the way of taking the person out of the room, and then I have an interview with them so that the people cannot hear the story. Because all what I hear first is the story, just to get me a little bit the idea. And then when we come back, I just asked the seeker to find the other person to represent certain parts. And then we step back. And that's a power that certainly you observe for the first time your own shit. You observe the first time your own family. You usually don't because you're involved. Okay? And it's not like that you say, well, I have this and this. No. You step back, you watch, and you allow the knowing field to move.
How did you discover this?
I didn't discover it. Family constellation is known or was really put out by Bert Hellinger. He just died actually, age of 90 something, in last September. He was a German, a priest and a psychotherapist. What he discovered is he worked with the Zulus in Africa, and he noticed that they are so happy. And he asked them, "Why are you so happy? I'm sure that they all have their issues." Well, they explained that even though they have the issues, they respected their parents, they respected their ancestors. So then he noticed something happened there. So it's kind of it coming from family constellation, Gestalt. So it worked itself out. I guess the knowing field found some channels to bring that work out. It's now over 25 years used around the globe. And it's mostly heard actually more in a culture where ancestors are more respected, not the Western world. So probably in the First Nation community down South America, you can find that work is much more acceptable because they understand that you coming from a line of people or ancestors. But you carry the gifts. You also sometimes carry the challenge, but also you carry sometimes things that doesn't belong to you. And this is a big thing. We carry things that doesn't belong to us. Especially kids like to pick up. Have you ever seen a 5-year-old who wants to carry the big suitcase, wanted to help, even it's bigger than itself? No, I can do it. It's not your purpose. You are a kid, you're supposed to play, and we are the old adults, we are carrying the bags. That's how it should be, because you have the size and you have the experience and you are big enough, right? Makes sense to you. Well, but this is not how it works. Well, kids like to pick up stuff because they want to help. They also sense very much when things are going wrong in the family. They just pick it up. You think they don't hear what happened, or they know exactly. They don't have to hear it here. They hear it with the heart and the soul. Okay? But we are all just people, including our parents. Okay? They did their best, what they could do. No matter what they did or didn't do. As long as we stay with that, we cannot move forward. Some of those BSs cannot be removed when we are holding on to it. This is what we often hold on to it, right? No, they did that, and they have to apologize. Well, nothing will move in that way. I'm just like to be bigger person, so okay. Moving forward from that.
And that's what you really get to see when you do constellation. Because you're stepping back.
Exactly.
Because you're sitting here seeking, you're basically watching a veil that you a belief system that you have. And like when I saw my first one, it was like, oh, I don't have to have that story anymore. I could be in a much more loving place around all the stuff that had happened. Even though it was hard. Right? It's like you're observing something in a completely new way. It's very...
Yeah, it's profound. It comes back to the same way, how cozy you felt behind those layers. Like, well, it's actually very cozy. And, by all means, if you like to stay there, you got my permission. You got my permission, absolutely. Not that you need it, but yeah, if you want to stay there, sure.
So I just want to say, too, that what I really noticed after doing my work is subtle things within my family started to change, too. So my brother came up to help me finish my kitchen in December, and he said at one point, you know what, you didn't come to help me finish my kitchen. And it was those kinds of things that you think, well, was it? Am I making that up because maybe I'm in a new place? But there's shifts happening, and I can see them shifts happening in my brothers. So
Oh, that was so weird things happen. You know, I'm doing that for over 10 years, actually 13 years. Like cell phones certainly go on in a place where there is no reception. Emails are being received from the person that was abandoned or not being heard of for 5 years. During their constellation, they received emails like that. Things can shift during the time in another place when you do the constellation. Okay, sometimes it takes time, and that's the thing. I don't know. We don't know what the time will take or how much time it will need to take. Our responsibility is to give it the sacred space and time to let it happen without influence it. Whoa, that was hard. Right? And this is our humanness, right? We always want to, control it and put it in a certain way. No, I trust 100% that it will go into the right direction. If it comes from your heart, it can only be right. Okay? Do you have any other question to this? And another thing that I work with is, again, those images, which all have different applications. But the main thing is, I call it the Delphin Sun activation, which has anything to do with the pineal gland and the heart connection. Same way, we're working on those layer removals, and they happen through a program, through a 21-day program of guided journeys. And that's also not really words, but it is the space and the time that is between the guided meditation that happen and takes you to a place. Like when we're here on Earth, okay, we are in this physical body. And when we work with systemic constellation, we work with the Earth family stuff. We have a direction, we have the 4 directions, right? And then we have up and down. When we go into space, all that falls away. There is really no direction. It's really hard for us, as long as we are here in this body, to really go there. But through the guided journeys, I get you there, almost into a quantum field. When you're in there, you have the possibility to expand in a way that you can grow yourself in a way, and consciously. And then also those layers getting resolved by it without actually looking how many corners does it have, or without analyzing and stuff like that. So it happens on a level that's not explainable. I'm using for that a very specific CosmoGram that it's not those, but it's only shown through the journeys. If you just go on my website, I have a little bit of explanation there, or if you're interested, just ask me later. I'm starting that in April, but it is a commitment. It's a 21-day commitment, and actually I do it even twice a day. But this is pretty much for the advanced one. But it is a commitment not to me, but to yourself. Okay, you know that it takes 21 days to change a habit, right? Well, really get going there. This one here, this is the chakra system. I know I was being told I guess 2006. So you should do some chakra symbols. I said, no, I'm not going to do that because there is so much stuff out already. I'm not interested in any repeats. I said, no, it has to be some new symbols. So they came down. So when I paint, this is kind of like a direct channel, right? I'm not in a trance, but I just paint and I know when it's done. It's just a piece of white paper. I don't see it. It just comes. And they are actually connected as one system. And it's, again, like we cannot just take something away. It's like a plant, okay? A plant has its root. This is for our physical body here on Earth, right? We need to be rooted in order to grow up and bloom. So it shows, because you probably know all about chakras, right? I don't have to explain that. There's no time. But one works and supports the other. I know some countries are still hanging around here in the lower chakras. Our neighbors, especially, right? The big neighbors. We want to move up, but we first have to work through those. Okay, we cannot just, okay, let's go there. Let's go up there. Oh, that's it. Well, you can go there. There's even some drugs you can do that, I guess. But it's useless, if it's not grounded. It's about bringing that really into the earth, into this place where we live. Do you know how the fastest way to descend? We call about ascension. Do you know the fastest way? You want to know? Drop your body. Drop your body. You're there. So we are multidimensional, right? You're already there. You have it already. You got it all. Just have to work on those layers to remember. So we want to actually bring those energies into this place here. It's already there. We don't have to bring it up there. We want to bring it down here.
How do you put together a constellation?
Yeah. I pick a date, and then I send out invites, and then people feel called to it, and then they register, and then they come.
How about how many people?
Sometimes I do 2 days. I can do about 8 to 10 constellations a day. That's really depend how quick the field works.
So each person is.
Yeah, each person. I work as long as I can. Mostly the other people are passing out before me. Because it is really hard work, even it doesn't look like. But I try to give every person that comes to look at their own personal constellation. But the thing is that you get so much more work. It's yours, yes, but every time then you are part of it, you're sitting in the circle, every time you are representing other piece and other piece and other piece and other piece. This is, for me, it's truly really group healing, and it goes like cross off, cross off, cross off, cross off. For on many levels, the work is holographic. Even sometimes when you see things, they might not make sense. They might remind you totally on your own. But when I say holographic, it's like when somebody comes, everyone connected to you will come and rush in because everyone wants to have it, right? So you're not coming alone. You're bringing all those ones that stand behind you, and the ones that are already here too. So, and sometimes there has to be a little bit more a German order of saying, no, okay, not you right now, because they really can be sometimes pushy. You know that, right? It's like, no. We have to be staying focused. Whose term is it right now? So if you like, you can give me your email and or sign up, and I put you on my email list. I might just do one next Saturday.
So Alexandra's got cards.
So do you have any question or any comments? Yeah.
If you wanted to do one of these, is it best not to do it with a spouse or a family member? Like, do that individually?
Yeah. What happened is that the field will protect, which means when sometimes somebody is there, it depends. If it's a couple, yes, you bring both. But if it's parents, it depends. I have to look at it, right? But
There's some family members that wouldn't come.
yeah, they don't have to. They don't have to.
Yeah. 'Cause they didn't.
Yeah, the field really protects you. I had cases, a friend, she really wanted to bring her mom, and the car broke down because the mom, I knew it, but I couldn't tell her. The mom was too much in judgment. She would have not been a good person, be part of the circle. So the knowing field really takes care of it. People that need to come, they certainly, like in the evening, hey, you gotta come. People that really want to come, no, you stay out. So the people that they put together, they have to fit. They have to fit with where they come from and who they bring. Like also on the unseen way, right? That has to fit in order to be effective and in integrity, also in honor of everyone else, without judgment. I try to see that without judgment, because some don't fit, and that's okay. So she tried twice, and twice she could not come. I said, okay, you know what? Leave your mom at home. And her mom noticed. She said, I don't know what you're doing, but I feel different. If we're talking about partners, like relationship partners, it would be fair to bring or to come both. But sometimes maybe, I know a woman often has to try it out first, right? And then you try it out and then report back, right? Yeah. But they don't have to be alive anymore. Okay? They don't really have to come. But the most important thing is that you have to question yourself is it needs to do something with you. You cannot come and say, hey, my neighbors are crappy. Can we do something about it? No. You can also not come to me and say, I want to change my partner. Can we do something about it? No. Okay? It has to do with you. You are number one. When you come to that, you are number one. And I will always have your best interest at focus. Okay? You had another question?
Can you tell us a little bit about this?
This is called Flower of Growth. It has everything to do with Earth. It was one of my first ones I painted. So wherever I do meditation with it, a grounded meditation, healing meditation. I have little pendants with it to help you grounding. I always have a sticker on a tile and I put it in my bathtub just to charge the water with it. It started with also putting it in the garden. It will activate the necessary energies that make things grow healthy. Again, my first thing is being with the plant person, right? So this is why that's a part of it. Came to help the earth also heal Like it can be put where the ground is being opened by negative intention. So when we place it there, it's being restored very quickly. Also with trees, it helps. I remember I rescued a hibiscus from a flower store. It didn't flower. I did all that I knew as a garden master. Nothing. I put that image, not that big size, I had a smaller one, right? I put it there, and actually it bloomed for me on the day when I became Canadian. The first flower. I was like, okay, I'm doing something right here. Yeah. I also have a book, you can look through it. There's a couple other images. I have as little posters that you can take home, and you can actually align yourself to it. It is very easy to use because you just stand in front of it. And you close your eyes and you wait until you pull forward. The same to the front. I had a person who went through a really bad divorce. She said, like, I was in front of that every 10 minutes. And it helped you because it uplifts the energies. The dolphin here that you see, dolphins are not slow movers, eh? They are really, really quick. And that's why they're here. They are always all in joy, always in fun. So they are moving up the energies very quickly. And the message is really to be here now and enjoy life. Forget about the drama, Yeah, things happen, cry, but cry now, be done with it, and move on. Move on. Any other question? Maybe another time I could come back and guide you through some meditation or something like that. I mean,
So I'm super curious about
Yeah.
this thing with your husband and the salad. Did he taste the salad? How did he follow that up? What did he taste and how did he follow it up? Did he get your phone number?
Oh yeah, he tried to find me, but at the time he was still with a girlfriend. So yeah. So, well, the thing is, he asked who was that, and they said, "Oh, she lives in." They gave him the wrong city where I lived in. I lived in Black Diamond, and they said something else. So it took them a while to find me. We later found us through online dating or something. So we found each other through that. But I also owned a book of his. So I also sensed him in a book. He wrote a book, medicinal edibles of Alberta, blah, blah, blah. So, and I walked with this book when I lived in the foothills. And I turned the picture around and I looked at it. Too bad he's married and has kids.
George Scudder?
No, Terry Willard. Terry Willard. Yeah. You probably have done his Wild Rose College, and you probably have done his detoxes. The Wild Rose Herbal Detox. Yeah, he came up with that. So I knew when I looked at the picture, he's married and has kids. And he said when that picture was taken, he was married and had kids. But, that resolved also. But we are best friend, like his ex-wife, because lived here. So we are like sister wives, as you call it. Almost, yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, so we did found each other, but first there was, and you all do that. We all send out messages energetically first. It's not happened like accidentally. Oops, oh, husband, hello. No, that's not. They have to stop a couple times, or sometimes. Yeah. Is there any other question I can answer? Or not answer? Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I forgot, one more thing, everybody. Please check our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page now because we can advertise our events. And if you have a Facebook account, please go like it. Please like all the posts, share them, do all that likey, clicky stuff. Because it really helps so that we don't ever have to spend a dime and we get visible out there in the Facebook community.
Yeah.
That would really be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So is it just questers or Qualicum?
It's Qualicum Questers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's attached to the website. So if you go to the website, there will be a little icon to click on.
Not yet.
Not yet? Soon? Okay, it will be.
That's